You are not failing because you lack willpower. You are failing because you are trying too hard. I know that sounds backwards. We have all been taught that the answer to a habit that won't stick is more discipline, more effort, more of you gritting your teeth and pushing through. But stay with me for a few minutes, because by the end of this I think you will see that the harder you have been pushing, the more you have been setting yourself up to quit. And there is one tiny thing, something that takes about 3 seconds and that almost everybody skips. That is the actual reason some habits become automatic and others never do. We will get to it. But first, let me describe a Monday you have probably lived. It is the start of the week, and you are full of resolve. This time you are going to do it properly. You are going to work out for an hour, read before bed, meal prep on Sunday, wake up early, the whole new you, all at once. And for a day or two, it is glorious. You feel unstoppable. Then Wednesday arrives, and you are tired. Thursday, something runs late and you skip the workout. By Friday the whole beautiful plan has quietly collapsed, and you are left thinking the same thing you always think. What is wrong with me? Why can't I just stick to anything? Here is the truth. Nothing is wrong with you. You just built a plan that only works on your best day, and most days are not your best day. Today we are borrowing from a book called Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg, a behavior scientist at Stanford who spent 20 years studying how habits actually form. And the heart of what he found is almost insultingly simple. You do not need more motivation. You need a smaller habit. Let's start there, because it is the shift everything else rests on. Most of us treat motivation like fuel. We wait until we feel inspired, then we go big. The problem is that motivation is a wave. Some days it is high, and you could run 5 miles. Most days it is low, and getting off the couch feels like a lot. So if you design a habit that needs high motivation to happen, you have quietly guaranteed that it only happens on the rare good days, and falls apart on all the ordinary ones. Fogg's answer is to stop relying on motivation at all. Instead of building a habit for the day you feel amazing, you build it for the day you feel nothing. The day you are tired, flat, and just want to go to bed. If the habit can survive that day, it can survive anything. And the only way to make a habit survive your worst day is to make it almost laughably small. This is the first idea, and it is the one people resist the most. Make the habit so small it feels pointless. Not 20 push-ups. 2. Not read a chapter. Read 1 page. Not floss all your teeth. Floss 1. I am being completely serious. When Fogg wanted to build a flossing habit, he started by committing to floss a single tooth. 1. Now your instinct right now is probably, that is too small to matter. And you are right, in a way. Flossing 1 tooth does nothing for your gums. But you are misunderstanding what the tiny version is for. It is not there to give you the result. It is there to give you the repetition. Because the hardest part of any habit was never the doing. It was the starting. 2 push-ups gets you onto the floor. 1 page gets the book open. And 9 times out of 10, once you have started, you keep going. But on the day you don't, on the tired day, you can still do the tiny version, and the habit stays alive. Think about your friend who says they want to get fit, buys the gym membership, goes hard for 2 weeks, then never goes again. And then think about the person who just walks for 10 minutes after dinner every night without fail. A year later, it is not the gym member who is in better shape. It is the walker. Not because walking is some magic exercise, but because the walker built something small enough that life never knocked it over. The big plan looks more impressive on day 1. The tiny plan is the one still standing on day 300. You are not aiming to do a lot. You are aiming to never break the thread. And a habit you do badly for a year beats a habit you do perfectly for a week. So that is the size. But there is still a question. When exactly are you supposed to do this tiny thing? Because if you leave it floating in your day with no fixed moment, you will mean to do it, and then suddenly it is midnight and you forgot again. This is the second idea, and it is the quiet piece of engineering that makes the whole thing work. Anchor your new tiny habit to something you already do. You already have dozens of rock-solid habits. You make coffee. You brush your teeth. You sit down at your desk. You wait for the kettle. These happen every single day without a shred of willpower, And Fogg's insight is to bolt the new habit directly onto one of them. The formula is simple. After I do this thing I already do, I will do my new tiny habit. After I pour my morning coffee, I will write one sentence. After I sit down at my desk, I will take 3 deep breaths. After I brush my teeth at night, I will read 1 page. The existing habit becomes the reminder. You are not trying to remember to do the new thing anymore, because the thing you already do every day reminds you automatically. You are letting your old routine carry your new one. Find the anchor first. Then attach the tiny habit right after it. That is the recipe. And now we get to the part one promised you at the start. The 3-second thing almost everyone skips, and the real reason habits stick or slip away. When you do your tiny habit, even the tiny version, you celebrate. Immediately. Right then. I know how that sounds. But hear me out, because this is the actual mechanism, and it is the thing that separates tiny habits from every other habit method. Fogg found that habits are not wired in by repetition alone. They are wired in by emotion. Your brain decides what to do again based on what felt good. So in the moment right after you do the habit, you give yourself a genuine hit of positive feeling. You smile. You say nice, or yes, or good job. You do a little fist pump. Whatever actually makes you feel a flicker of pride. It feels silly. Do it anyway. Because that tiny burst of good feeling is the glue. It tells your brain, that thing we just did, that was good. Let's do it again. Without it, you are just repeating a behavior and hoping it sticks. With it, you are actively teaching your brain to want it. Most people skip the celebration because it feels childish, and then they wonder why 3 weeks of effort never turned into a habit. The celebration was the missing piece the whole time. So that is the full method. Shrink it down so it survives your worst day. Anchor it to something you already do so you never forget. And celebrate the instant you finish so your brain wires it in. Small, attached, and rewarded. And quickly, if this helped, subscribe. Every week we take one real problem, money, habits, relationships, confidence, work, and borrow the best ideas from great books to build something you can actually use. That is what Borrow Wisdom is here for. So if you take one thing from today, take this. You were never weak. You were just trying to build habits the hard way. Leaning on motivation you cannot control and going so big that the first tired day knocked the whole thing down. Here is what I would do this week. Pick one habit you have been failing to start. Now shrink it until it feels almost too easy to bother with. 2 minutes. 1 page. 1 push-up. Then find something you already do every day, and decide your tiny habit happens right after it. After my morning coffee, I will do this. And the moment you finish it, however small, give yourself 1 real second of feeling good about it. A smile, a quiet yes, anything. That is it. No willpower required. No waiting until you feel ready. Just something small, attached to your day, and celebrated the moment it is done. A quick note before we go. Borrow Wisdom shares ideas from books to get you thinking, not as professional advice for your own situation. Take what is useful here, leave whatever is not, and make it yours. Life is hard. Borrow wisdom. I'll see you in the next one.